All right, hello and welcome to another episode of The Curious Chicken. And today we have a special guest. It's Big Will. Big Will, welcome.
Yay!
All right. So today we're going to talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 5. It's called The Prisoner.
6.
So, 6. So here I go again. I'm doing the wrong episode.
They're all the same, Matt. You call it 3. Doesn't matter.
That's right. All right, Chapter 6, The Prisoner. Yes, let me get it right. So this one was a very star-studded, packed episode. And so we'll kind of talk about that as it goes on. So we'll go ahead and just get started on episode 6 here. So we start off and we got the Mandalorian. He lands on a space station hangar run by Mark Boone Jr. from the Sons of Anarchy. He's Ran, and he greets him at the Mandalorian, and he's got a little surprised that the Mandalorian reached out to him and says, well, you know, there's conditions when you're going to come here. I got a job for you. So the job is going to be busting out a prisoner on a New Republic prison barge. So here we go. So what's a little heist episode without building the crew, right? So we got to build the crew. And so now we have our crew is going to be Mayfield, that's played by Bill Burr. And we have, what's her name? Gian. Yeah. And then we have Berg, who's played by Clancy Brown. We've seen him in a ton of things. I guess he's done some Star Wars voiceover stuff too. So he's pretty familiar with the whole Star Wars episode, or not the episodes, but the world there. And then we have a droid called Zero, and he's going to be on the crew also. So he puts this crew together, and of course, there's always going to be a big pissing contest with everybody, and everybody's got to try to see who's the tough guy and who's going to, you know, be the main alpha there. And so when they get on the ship, I was kind of surprised that they let so Mandalorian let the Zero pilot the ship. I was a little shocked that he would do that. So, but he lets that droid fly the ship, and then while he's flying it, of course, they're continuing to do some shit talking amongst themselves down there, and then they want to like take off the Mandalorian's helmet. Everybody's obsessed with seeing his face and what's underneath that helmet. So there's a little bit of a scuffle, and as they do that, pops open. Well, what happens is that door, that little compartment pops open, and there you got Baby Yoda standing there.
The dumbwaiter with Baby Yoda in it.
Yeah. So they see old Baby Yoda, and they ask the Mandalorian if that's his pet, and the Mandalorian says, "Yep, that's my pet." And so Bill Burr, he picks it up and cradles it and says that, you know, he'd like to have a pet like Baby Yoda, you know. So as they're going through space, or as they're going through hyperspace, right? They're getting what happens? The Zero, he comes out of hyperspace, right?
Yep.
And
he's got to make some mad Top Gun maneuvers.
That's right. And as he does that,
the Poe Dameron maneuvers.
So as he comes to a complete halt, he's tossing everybody around. There goes Baby Yoda flying out of Bill Burr's arms, and you know, once again,
I guarantee that stressed people out.
Yeah, CPS will be called on that for sure.
I guarantee Star Wars is getting emails already. How dare you throw him on the floor?
Right. Leave him unattended. You know,
Exactly.
all kinds of shit. So they land the ship on the barge, and as they do that, Mando puts Baby Yoda back in his little hidey hole, and so it's time to start the mission. And so they go into the prison barge, and while they're doing that, Zero, the droid, he's kind of maneuvering things from the Razor Crest, and so as they go through there's some firefighting, there's some scuffles, and then they're going to make their way to the control room. And when but the Mandalorian's told that there's nothing but droids on this ship, right? So they expect nothing but robots. They make their way to the control room, open the door, and there is a New Republic soldier, right? So they're a little shocked by that. And so there's a little bit of a standoff. And so as they're doing that, the soldier holds up this beacon, this little tracker beacon, and threatens he's going to
Those seem to be very, very popular.
Right. So the Mandalorian, being who he is, he tries to negotiate some peace and, you know, hey, just leave it, let us do our thing. But there's always got to be somebody to fuck that up, and that's going to be Gian. She throws a knife and kills him. And as he's dying, he activates the beacon, which starts the panic mode.
Right.
So, and then after that happens, they all rush to go get the prisoner. And when they get to his cell, they open it up, and there they're going to find Xion's brother Quinn or Ken or whatever his name is. And so once again, that's somebody else that the Mandalorian knew from his past. And as he walks in, they shove the Mandalorian in the cell and lock it, and they take off. So as that's happening, Zero, he kind of discovers that he goes to go to check out the baby Yoda. Oh no, you hear something.
He's on the computer and whatnot, wasn't he?
Yeah, but somehow he discovers baby Yoda. I forgot how he did that. But anyway,
was he privy to that whole thing that was going on while he was flying, or no?
No, I don't think
he was watching. He was watching the hologram and learned a little bit more about him being the reward for Baby Yoda, which I assumed was what prompted him to go walk around the ship looking for him.
Yeah. Okay. So he discovers him, and the Baby Yoda somehow slips away, and they start this little cat and mouse thing he's trying to find Baby Yoda. So back on the barge ship, the Mandalorian, he's able to escape, and he goes back to the control room. And as he goes back there, he grabs that tracking beacon. So as he's making his way back to the Razor Crest, he confronts Berg, Mayfield, and Xion. He subdues them, and he's able to get back to the Quinn's with him also, but Quinn gets away from him and heads to the ship before he does. And after he deals with those three, he confronts Quinn, and Quinn says that he's going to triple his money or whatever, give him more money if he takes him back safely. And so meanwhile, the Zero's got Baby Yoda cornered, and as he's going to raise his blaster to him, the Mandalorian shoots the Zero and takes him out. And so the Mandalorian flies back to the space station with Quinn in tow, and he drops him off. He gets paid. And as he departs, Rand says he wants him killed, Mandalorian killed. And but as they're doing that Quinn or King, whatever his name is, discovers he's got a tracker with him. And that triggers the New Republic X-Wing fighters to show up and blast them all to hell. And we end the episode with Mayfield, Berg, and Xion in the cell. And that is the end of the show. Now, I did go through this very quickly because there was a lot to unpack here. So, Will, tell me what your thoughts on the show.
Well, first off, I want to say that Berg and Mayfield is probably the most un-Star Wars names I have ever heard in my life.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that. That's on the writers. They came up with some pretty weak names before. They're kind of similar to ones of these characters that played before. So I'm surprised they didn't make Bill Burr's name Berg, and then the other guy Mayfield or some shit like that.
Kind of like Kara.
Yeah, Kara, and
exactly. And then call the other dude Brownie.
Yeah, well, it's weird. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
I think the highlight of the episode was the end with the X-Wing attack.
Mm-hmm.
That was friggin' awesome. It's like the highlight for me anyway.
Right.
I would agree.
So do you see this episode, the whole Mandalorian as more of a continuous series, or does it seem like it's more broken down to more one-shot episodes or more individualized than a continuation series? The only thing you have in common is Baby Yoda to me. Everything else is that you just he kind of shows up, something happens, but I don't really feel like there's a whole lot more of a backstory or why we're doing what we're doing. Like there's nobody going back saying, oh shit, this Baby Yoda, we got to get him because of X, Y, and Z. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Maybe the 8th episode, the final episode, will be one of those cliffhangers where it'll actually have like where the next season will be a continuous story arc. Maybe, I don't know. I know the Clone Wars and Rebel series has a lot of standalone episodes. So
okay. Well, maybe it's the formula that they want to go with these type of shows.
Well, I think Will and I were talking about that. Didn't you say that Filoni, since he's involved in all 3 of the series, that's kind of how he did the first series of each of the others, was just kind of a haphazard standalone episodes.
Yeah, like the storyline. The first season of Clone Wars had a lot of standalone episodes. I think there was maybe like 3 that actually had something to do with each other. But for the most part, they were all like standalone.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, the thing is, you did have some references to other things. You know, they kind of was Bill Burr. His character Mayfield, was he a stormtrooper? You know, he says he was an Imperial sharpshooter, and you know, Mandalorian kind of says, well, that's a big deal, you know, whatever. And he's like, well, I'm not a stormtrooper. So, you know, was he a stormtrooper? You know, was he not? What's that all about? Because you know, you got that other thing going on too, that there was this disintegration of the Empire. The New Republic is kicked in, and now all these people, these mercenaries, these soldiers and stuff, are out into the universe with trying to find work, and you know, so you got that going on. There's also that reference to the was it Alzok 3, the planet, I guess, that they was that ever brought up in other episodes that you know of, any other movies or that you don't know?
Not that I've seen.
Okay, because yeah, okay. What else was kind of referenced? I can't remember.
I like the insinuation that the Mandalorian could be Jar Jar.
Oh yeah, the Gungan, yes.
The obligatory Bill Burr Jar Jar. He was so stupid, Joe.
Right, yeah, there you go. So yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was good times.
Yeah.
I was fully waiting for that.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, there you go. So you got a little bit of references there.
Yeah, but you can't really. I couldn't really take him seriously in the episode, you know, because he's a comedian. He's not a killer,
right?
You know,
right.
So I don't know. I mean, it was okay.
I think that's one of the things I've brought up in the past is
right.
that you're hiring all of these guys that are men and women that are established actors, and we have a preconceived notion of who they are and what they do. And it's, you know, you bring in Al Pacino, more than likely it's going to be a gangster type role, or, you know, it's going to be a spoof on that. And there's not really a whole lot else that he's done. And when you bring in Bill Burr, you expect funny. But with Star Wars, I don't know if funny is like they get funny, but they don't write funny typically. You know, you get jokes out of the way the dialogue comes out, or, you know, a reference to the past or something like that. But this seemed a little bit more written as funny, and it seemed a little out of place to me.
Well, that's where my fear is with these one-shot things. When you bring these big people in for these one episodes, they're not continuing on, you know, each episode, you know, building a character with these people. They just kind of come in, do their thing, they're gone.
Right.
And so that's where I feel that this is not really you're really telling me, you're keeping me engaged with a story. You just kind of it's the Simpsons, you know, it's each episode's its own standalone kind of thing.
Right.
So.
And then they make jokes that refer to the 10-year-old episodes, and then people go, oh, remember when they did that? And you think it's funny because you're referring to old stuff, and you get fanboys that giggle with glee. Oh.
Well, Will, you seem to disagree with us a little bit on that. So.
I don't have a problem with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like making a joke about, I don't know, something happened in World War II or something. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, making a joke, it's referencing something that happened, you know, in that universe or whatever. So of course, you know, if they reference it, they may reference it a bunch of times. It's right. To me, it's nothing.
Okay. But have you seen the pictures of the side-by-sides from episode 5? They did the side-by-side pictures from Tatooine. It was like the same cliff that they flew through in the canyon, and like same shots of Mos Eisley. I get that it pays homage to it, and I'm a Star Wars fan, so I love it. But at some point, I've been saying it all along, we got to move on. Let's just move forward and create that new content and stop rehashing the old stuff. I don't know. And like you said, you know, we get these one-offs, Matt, but is it a one-off? They're in the prison cell. That barge has got to go somewhere. Are we going to see them escape? Are we going to see them go to jail and they become, you know, the perennial bad guy? Is Kara coming back? Like they didn't die, so there's potential for them to come back.
I think
but
so.
The problem is that they're not giving us any kind of story. I would have loved to have seen when he hit the hangar and Ranzar came out to meet him. I'd like to see a little more backstory than just the, hey dude, what's up? I'm surprised you called me. And that was it. And the way he referred to him, I questioned, like, is Mando his real name? Because he said, hey Mando. And when he turned around, he goes, is that you under there? And I was like, why would you say Mando? Is that you? Like, you would do that if it was, you were in a costume. And I'm like, Matt, is that you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't go, hey, white guy, is that you under there? They make a vague reference to every other white guy on the planet. Like, and I get that's not the name, and we've had the discussion about the nickname, but
right.
It would have. It's these episodes I think would mean more if there were more explanation or if there was more backstory given, kind of like the Holdo thing. You know, why do we even care about Holdo? Because you mentioned she's a hero in that movie. You mentioned, hey, the hero from such and such a battle, and we go, oh, she's awesome, and then she dies, and we're supposed to care. She was in the movie for 2 hours, and there was no explanation. There's no character built.
Right.
So this show just, I have to say, I'm pretty excited. There wasn't a bar.
Right.
There was no cantina.
Right. No cantina. No drinking. That's right. Yeah. Well, that was the first.
They're moving forward.
Yeah.
They're listening to the feedback. No more bars.
Right.
Where are all our Mandalorian friends? Like, you have this, the end of every show seems to be the coolest part. You got the Mandalorians and jetpacks just shooting up the whole place. Let's get out of here. We got your back, bro. And you get that, very brotherhood sense. And it was the same thing with this one. It was pew, pew, pew. And the X-Wing show up and, Filoni's piloting it. So you get
awesome.
cameo. And then it's that whole like, oh, snap. It's X-Wings. That's cool. And they just light the place up. And it was very Top Gun, the good guys come in and win. But, the 36 minutes prior to that are like, what are we doing? There's cool blasters and everybody's hiding in a hallway. Nobody's doing it. They like, I don't know.
Well, so Will, what do you think is going to be the next? How is this rest of the season going to finish out? Do you think? I mean, what's going to happen with? Do you think they're going to give some more backstory on Baby Yoda, or what's the deal with him? Or
I don't know. I know that. I forget the guy's name. The actor, African American guy, who's supposed to be like a imperial, like higher up or something. He's supposed to be in this season. We got two episodes left.
I think so.
I'm thinking he has something to do with what's going on with Baby Yoda, maybe.
Okay.
Because they've shown clips of him, but he hasn't been in any episodes yet. So I'm thinking that maybe he has something to do with what's going on. He's some kind of really high up imperial official.
Is that the Giancarlo?
Yeah.
Esposito?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing him off.
Right.
So he's going to come in and be in charge of stuff. But are we going to see him get into his limo and drive away and never see him again?
I don't know. Like the other shows that Dave Filoni's been involved with, there's lots of story arcs starting with the second season. I think like they do a lot of standalone. Maybe he does a lot of standalone in the first series to set up things. Maybe, but I know like Clone Wars and Rebels season 2 and forward, there's lots of story arcs.
Okay.
So possibly this could leave off with like a cliffhanger, and then season 2 will pick up, and we'll have lots of continuity. Or whatever.
Yeah, but I could see that if we had like story development to this point. But so far, it's basically been go to bar, get shit, go somewhere else, kill things, fly away, and then rinse, repeat. We're not getting like if I was getting more Baby Yoda story, like a little more feedback on maybe doing some research, what the hell this kid is, something, him tracking something down, or somebody mentioning why we're looking for this kid. Like it would be a little more interesting. I'd see where you're going. But right now it's just a whole bunch of like, it's like G.I. Joe. It's, Cobra and G.I. Joe. We're shooting blasters. No one dies. The story doesn't go anywhere, but we just have to get these characters on the screen so kids will go buy the toys and the ships and the vehicles. Yeah. And, I get, it's marketable. I get that it's popular, and I've stuck around. I've watched everything besides the animated series that's Star Wars related. I'm a victim of the marketing as well, but I'm just not. I'm feeling like this thing. They keep opening cans of something like a soda. They take a sip and then set it on the counter, and then next week they open up another one and then take a sip and set it. Now we've got all these open cans that they're just sitting there. Carbonation's going away. There's nothing going forward. We're not using it for anything, make a mixed drink or serve it to the kids or
irritating your stomach.
We're not getting any closure. They're showing a Star Wars universe and it's neat, but what story, like honestly, how far forward have we gone?
Well, so here's the thing. My understanding of Star Wars, there's always balance, right? So if you have a Yoda, so there's obviously something that's the dark side that's developing. Are they trying to? They think that there's a prophecy out there that this new baby Yoda is going to turn into the Super Yoda to take balance of whatever evil is out there. I mean, I don't know. There's always with Star Wars, isn't there always kind of like that balance of there's good and there's bad, and they're always battling something. Mandalorian he's very chaotic neutral. He's just kind of doing his own thing, and he's more the Han Solo. He's just his own person. He's not really a structured good or structured bad. So, I wonder if they're going to show an evil side, a dark side that's going to appear.
How do we know Baby Yoda's not evil?
That's true. We don't know.
He could be. He was about to kill that guy, and then looked at his hand like, "Did I do that?"
Right.
That was a pretty cool scene at the end. And that dude got blasted.
He's about to get pissed off because that's twice it's happened to him. He's about to do something. And the man was cooked in. He's about to say, "Dude, you're about to get fucked up." I'm about to,
he's gonna crush him inside his armor.
Yeah.
Into the little tin can. Mando stew.
Yeah, he's gonna get fed up with that after a minute.
Stop taking my thunder.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. It's crazy, man. It's Star Wars, so it's awesome. But I keep finding stuff to bitch about.
Dave Filoni hasn't let me down yet. I love the Clone Wars series. I love the Rebel series, and he hasn't disappointed me yet. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to finish off this, the season and see what happens. I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve. These last two episodes, even the last one. So I'll wait till the last episode to make my gripes or whatever.
Wait till Boba Fett shows up.
He's already showed up.
I know. Officially.
All right. So any last words from you, Adam or Will, before we wrap this up?
No. This one's got me back on the uptick a bit. I was getting a little bit bummed out with the last couple episodes. They were slow and they were kind of meaningless. Mm-hmm. And then the ending was just leaves you with nothing. This one was much better, I think. For me personally, it was better. There was a little the comedy. I guess we're going to get it with Bill Burr. I think you can't go wrong with putting the Kurgan in anything. Yeah. I don't know how many tiny jokes you have to make. Like we get it. He's little. Like stop already. But the droid. We got the little droid key that we used to unlock everything. He tore the arm off the droid and then used it in the lock to unlock the cell, right?
Right.
So my first question is, why is there a lock on the inside? Number two, doesn't the locking the key, as it were, doesn't that require programming to run? Or is it like a high school master lock, right, left, right, past the second number, back to the left, unlock? How did he know how to use it and get that lock? Does it click? Is like that whole thing? He should still be in a prison cell, in my opinion. Like that episode could have ended with him in jail. We'd probably
be much of an episode if they did that.
Yeah, but we're in exactly the same place we're in now. Like there's nothing to move forward anyway. Let's just leave him in jail. Maybe Kara could come and get him out. We'll get a recurring character.
Maybe.
Like that was my biggest frustration with that was the whole people in jail. They throw him in. That wasn't even an issue to him. He's like, I'll just grab this guy's arm, tear him up.
Right.
Not even an issue. And I don't understand having locks on the inside of the door. That didn't make any sense. And the manualness of it, I've never seen that before. Didn't.
Yeah,
that's just my 2 cents.
And then was in Berg. He's fireproof. We learned that
yes.
Yes.
Flames to the face.
Yeah. That's something to keep in mind for future. These fireproof.
The old Deveronian is fireproof.
Hold on.
Well, I guess that's our cue to wrap it up then. But I want to thank Big Will for being on. Hopefully we can get him on again to discuss some future episodes. And once again, I also want to thank Adam for being on here to walk us through it. And so, be sure to like and subscribe. And for all those people out there that like reality television, be sure to check out another show that was on called Sequester. It airs on Sunday night and on YouTube. And with that, we're going to say a goodbye and thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.